this week, the man who murdered 4 Idaho college students in November of 2022 was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Family members of the victims, as well as the 2 surviving roommates, delivered impact statements before Bryan Kohberger's sentencing. Attorney David Betras joins us this morning to discuss the case and to learn more about impact statements. Dave, let's just start with the purpose of one and what do they provide?
Okay, so Bryan Kohberger, he pled to avoid the death penalty. Now, I'm old enough to know, because I've been doing it 40 years, back in the day they didn't have victim impact statements. So victims groups started to get together and they have slowly gained a lot of rights. For instance, in Ohio here, we have a law called Marcy's Law, and it's a constitutional amendment that prosecutor's office has to notify victims. They have to have victims' inputs. They don't have to follow what the victim wants, but they certainly are required under Marcy's Law in Ohio to get their input. A victim impact statement is when a defendant is getting sentenced. He has to face his accusers and hear them say what he did and how he did it affected their lives. And I've been in many of those courtrooms when victim impact statements were given, and they're powerful. They are meaningful. And I think more importantly for everyone, it's not to berate so much the defendant as it is a closure and a healing process for the victims. It's like in our system of justice, victims don't get to go and beat up the people that accuse them, but they get to verbally abuse them, and verbally abuse them they do a lot of times. Now, in the Idaho case, in Ohio, the judges sort of make you look at the judge to give your victim impact statement. But in Idaho, they're allowed to look right at Bryan Kohberger and give that statement. And he had to sit there and take that. And unless he's a psychopath or a sociopath, some of those words he heard are going to stay with him for a very long time.
Now, will an impact statement, does it assist the judge in making their decision when it comes to sentencing?
Yes, but not in this case, because he got life without parole.
Right.
So it was more cathartic for the victims than it was anything. But yes, I have seen judges be so moved by impact statements that they actually punish someone harder when they see, you know, we're all human beings.
Yeah.
Every one of us. Judges are human beings. And I know some people don't think that judges are human. They're human. And as humans, they emote. And if you have emotions, you can be moved by what people say to you and the effect you could see as a judge. I've seen it many times where a judge listens to a victim, okay, and is moved by what the victim says. So, yes, it does affect what a judge does. Now, there are other times when you have to be careful with the victim impact statement because you can overdo it sometimes. Meaning, I had one time a case where a woman brought in a box and said, she cremated her son, and she says, here's my son, and he wants to talk to you. And she opened up the box, and it was a little morbid and a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that one affected the judge so much, but for the most times, the judges are very, very moved by what has to be said.
So there's mostly advantages to an impact statement, and the only disadvantage is if you have a client who, you know, may not do so well with getting in front of others and saying how they felt without being.
Yeah, now in Ohio, under Marcy's Law, the victim can do it, or the victim can say, I want this person to speak on my behalf. Because some people, believe it or not, the most fearful thing for people is getting up and speaking in front of people. And I know you and I have a hard time doing that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
it's rough.
I'm shaking right now.
I'm shaking right now.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And it's a great Friday.
It is.
We got
wonderful.
some good news coming to the firm. We've hired a new lawyer, so in mid-August, I'm going to bring her on, and you guys can meet her.
Awesome.
Exciting. Frank's on vacation again.
Okay.
I think this is his 4th or 5th vacation this year.
Yeah.
Jimmy Melfi, he's on vacation again.
Okay.
And we had sticks, and Bryan got to go down and run the Tampa office.
Okay.
And I love Youngstown, but the weather's a little better down there, so I'm in the Youngstown office. I don't plan to leave here.
Thanks for staying.
And of course,
with
I
us.
brought the
And you
goods
brought the
from,
donuts.
and they're all
Thanks,
homemade
Dave.
people. You got to go get those apple fritters, or you got to get those cinnamon rolls. They are the bomb.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dave.
you. Everyone have a great weekend.
Yes.